here again. This is my final Kino Lober pickup. So what happened was I had filmed a video about a week ago with some of the titles I got, but I had not gotten all the titles. I was going to put this out. Then I thought after I filmed it, I watched it. I wasn't happy with it because I made a lot of mistakes. I flubbed a lot. Like, I would say a word. It made no sense. Like, yeah. So I just decided I kind of sound like a former president of ours that was mumbling through stuff. So I decided that I was going to go ahead and refilm that once I got the other stuff in. So what this Kino Lober, stack encompasses is two different types of things. First off, there was a sale they had just recently where all their titles were below $10 a piece. But also at the same time, they have an ongoing sale, which is they're kind of almost like they're going out of print sale. Like limited quantities left, get them while they last, because my understanding is they've lost the rights to these movies. So once they sell out, they're gone. They're not going to reacquire the rights to these movies. That's not to say that some of these movies will eventually be picked up by another studio, maybe re-released. But as for Kino Lober, they don't have the rights to these movies anymore. So they're selling out what limited quantities they have left. And that's it. So I have two different stacks here, one from the sale and one from the going before they're gone. So I'm going to do the going before they're gone first. And when I talk about this, none of these movies I paid more than like $5 or $6 for. They were all like dirt cheap. Matter of fact, I think one was like $4. So this I just could not pass up, even though I haven't seen. Have I seen any of this? I saw that one. I saw that one. I've seen 2 of the 6 movies I got here. The rest of them I haven't, but for that price and what they sounded like, I had to go for. So the first one I grabbed was The Funny Farm with Howie Mandel. This is actually Code Red. It just looked really funny. It had a really good cast in here from Peter Aykroyd, which is Dan Aykroyd's brother. Eileen Brennan, she was in Private Benjamin, and it's got a really good cast to it. And I thought that, it sounded really interesting. This was the $4 one, so I was like, okay, so I grabbed that. Next one I grabbed, and I've never seen this, and I am a massive fan. Animal House ranks the top 10 movies of all time for me. And I'm not going to lie, it does. I love Animal House. I have loved Animal House since I snuck out in the front room and watched it when I was a little kid. I have loved that movie. John Belushi in that movie is just... So I had never seen this one, which doesn't have John Belushi, but it's a National Lampoon's movie. It's Class Reunion. I have never seen this. This was done in 1982. This is $5, so it looked really cool. It looked really fun, so figured why not try it. There's quite a few people in here that I've heard of before. Stephen First, who was in Animal House, and let's see here who else. Michael Lerner, Anne Ramsey, who was with Throw Mom on the Train. She plays the mom. So I mean, this looked really cool, so I grabbed it. So I grabbed Class Reunion. The next one I got, and it's only because I'm a fan of this guy's movies. He only lasted a little while in the mid-90s. His name's Ken Wall. He did The Taking of Beverly Hills, which I love that movie. It is so unbelievably cheesy and bad, but I love that movie. This one's called The Soldier. I've never heard of it before, and I was thumbing through, and I saw another YouTuber, and they were like, yeah, I picked this one up too. When he flipped over the back, he stopped it for a second. I looked at it, that's Ken Wall. So I went in there, and I had to grab that. So I do like Ken Wall. I mean, again, he's cheesy as all get out, but his movies are fun. So Soldier. This is one that I have seen, and I remember seeing this actually in theaters a long time ago. I think I saw the VHS. I never got a DVD of it. I guess I saw it. I remember I really liked it because I remember watching it multiple times on VHS back in the day, but I guess when I got the DVD, I moved on, I guess. But I remember this being a really good movie. I remember the ending being like, what the was that? It was so far out of left field. And it's a movie called Shattered with Bob Hoskins and Tom Berenger. This has got an ending that I remember back in the day when I first saw this movie in the theaters, I did not see coming. The people I was with did not see coming. The reviewers did not see it coming. It was like one of those type of endings. So I haven't seen this movie in years. It was like $5 or $6, and I was like, I think it's time for me to watch this again. I remember it being a really, really, really good movie. And I remember really liking it a lot. That's some of the things I like about movies sometimes is I'll go, 10, 12 years without seeing a movie, go back and you realize, A, you've forgotten parts of it, so which is really cool, but B, you remember how much you fell in love with the movie to begin with. So I'm really looking forward to watching it again. Shattered. This is another one I'd seen way back in the day. I don't think I saw it in theaters. I think I saw it on VHS, but it's the Chuck Norris classic, Hero and the Terror. I remember this being another really good movie that I really liked. I believe it had the guy from Predator in there. I can't remember his character's name in Predator, but he's the one that cut himself on his chest before the Predator got him. Billy was his character's name. But I remember this being a really good flick, and I've always been a fan of Chuck Norris's. So yeah, picked it up, Here in the Terror. And the last one I got on, they're going out of print. Kind of, I don't know, going out of print. It's just they're just not going to have it anymore, so it's going out of print. So in this one, and this is another one, I just got through watching a couple of James Belushi movies the other day. I watched Mr. Destiny and Taking Care of Business, which are movies, again, came out mid-90s that I hadn't watched in probably 15, 20 years, and I popped them in because I'm like, it's time. And I sat down, they're both Kino Lober titles, and I loved them. I sat down and watched back to back to back, and I forgot how much I loved them, and people that were in them, and certain scenes I'd forgotten about, and even some things that I say as quotes sometimes I forgot. I got this one quote from the movie. So I was I saw this, and this was $6, and I was like, I'm going to grab it. It's called Real Men with James Belushi and John Ritter, who I was another fan of John Ritter. Man, I grew up on Three's Company. So this has got deals with aliens and all kinds of weird things. I've never seen it. It's from 1987. But I just couldn't pass it up. I'd forgotten how much I loved James Belushi, because it wasn't just those two movies. He did Red Heat with Schwarzenegger, which I absolutely love. The quote in there, the Chicago cop never gives up his weapon. They all pull their guns on me. He's like, here you go. He hands it right over. I mean, it's just, James Belushi had a lot of really good timing on him. He was very much like his brother. So I'm actually really excited to watch this one. So there's that. So that was the ones I got when I saw it. I really encourage you to go on Kino Lober's website. So some of the ones, I wouldn't say a lot of ones, but they're a good percentage of the ones that they actually have, they're going out of print, I already own, so I didn't have to get as much. These were the ones that either A, I've been kind of holding off on, or B, like, whoa, this one just went on the getting ready to go out of print sale there. So I jumped on it. But, I would really recommend you going to check it out. They got a really, really good movies. And again, they're dirt cheap. I mean, normally when a company is getting rid of some movies they're going out of print they're not going to have, they usually won't lower the price. I mean, they lowered the price to a ridiculous amount of money on these things just to let them all go. So I jumped in. All right, so the rest of these are the ones that were from the Kino Lober sale, which was a couple weeks before. And these are the ones I got. None of these I paid over $8, I think, for. I think I paid $9 for one. But none of these I paid more than $8 for, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. The first one I got was Dolph Lundgren, the Minion. I don't know. Looks cheesy. Got Dolph Lundgren in it. Figured, I think this was the cheapest one. I think it was like $6. So I was like, I'm going to go for it. Check it out. Looks interesting. So I grabbed that. I've always liked Dolph Lundgren ever since the Rocky IV. He was misunderstood. As an actor, I think that he did like Red Scorpion. He did a lot of stuff that I don't think he's ever gotten really appreciated for over the years. People kind of sidelight him a lot. I mean, he did the original Punisher, which I actually liked. And he did a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people kind of like, and then he kind of I feel like he faded away for a while. Then the Expendables came around, he kind of came back, and he's made a pretty good, strong appearance back in movies since then. But I've always liked him as an actor. I always thought he's a lot of fun. I think that he's, there's a movie called I Come in Peace, which was one of my favorite movies with him in it, and there's so much cheesy dialogue, and there's just so much, but I feel like a lot of times he doesn't take himself seriously. He knows it's kind of cheesy, but he just enjoys it anyway. So that's kind of what I've always got from him. So there's that. The next one I picked up, and this was just because I have the whole series. I just thought this would be really neat to have the actual movie and Blu-ray, and that is Buck Rogers, the 25th Century. I do have this series on DVD, but this was like $6, and I don't know. I just wanted a Blu-ray. I love Buck Rogers. I grew up with Buck Rogers, and I remember loving the show, and I remember having a crush on Erin Gray when I was a kid, So it just made sense to grab this and watch it on Blu-ray. I'm really excited actually to watch it and watch, a nice version, not what you see on TV and stuff like that. So we'll see. So Buck Rogers. The next one I got, and this one I was extremely excited to get, because I remember this movie when I was a kid, and I'd forgotten about it for a while, and I went back and I watched a couple of movies. Like I'd recently watched I Am Legend with Will Smith, and before that I'd watched I Am Omega with Charlton Heston, but I might as well go with the original, which is The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. Yeah, I got the slipcover. Yay. I'd forgotten about this. This was $9. This is a really good black and white movie. It's probably more true to the story than any of the other incarnations that have come out about the whole end of the world guy trying to find a cure thing. This was the closest to the actual book itself, where the other ones went off on tangents. This one didn't. This went straight forward through. Vincent Price is amazing. I've always been a fan of Vincent Price since I was a kid. My mom was really into him. She used to watch like The Fall of the House of Usher all the time, and Dr. Five Rise Again. She used to watch a lot, and this one too. So I became a big fan of his Vincent Price's a long time ago. So to finally own this movie on Blu-ray, and let me tell you, I did watch it. I watched it about a couple days ago. It looks amazing for a movie filmed in what, 1964. It's black and white. Obviously, it was colored by them, but they chose black and white to give it a different feel. It looks amazing. It still holds up really well. Kino did a really good job on restoring this movie. If you've never, this is a really good like science fiction movie. You really want to see a good one, sit down and watch this. Trust me, you'll like it. So, Last Man on Earth. The next one I got, this was, I think it was $8, but I didn't own it. And I own the other incarnation, but I didn't own this one. This is the first version of this movie they ever did, which is 2000 Leagues Under the Sea. Now, this is the original 16 classic that's got, there's actual no, I don't think there's speaking roles in this thing. I think it's all like the words come up, in between scenes and stuff like that. I've never actually seen this. I've obviously seen, the other incarnations of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, the Disney classic and stuff like that. I've never seen this one. And I just thought, this would be really interesting to sit down and actually watch it, kind of compare them and see. I mean, this movie was done that's over 100 years old, this movie. I mean, that's just amazing to me that it's still around. So I figured what a great time to grab it for a cheap price, and at least have it part of my collection. The next one I got, and I've watched this the other day too. I'm a big fan of the original Blob. Now, I came into the Blob a lot later in life. I remember seeing it as a kid, but I didn't really pay too much attention to it. Then as I got older, I watched it again, and I really did enjoy it. And I thought it was a great kind of campy 60s movie, and I really enjoyed it. I did not know until a few years ago that there was actually a sequel called Beware the Blob, which was filmed several years later. Remember, this one was filmed in 72. I didn't know it existed, so I picked it up. I gotta say, a lot more cheesy than the original. There's a lot of, I don't know how to say it. There's some stuff that happens in the movie. You're kind of like, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense. But I actually enjoyed it. It was cheesy. Is it good as the original? No, nowhere near as good as the original. But there's a lot of little elements in this movie that I think they even pulled out and put in the remake of the Blob that came out in the 80s or 90s. There's just really cheesy stuff in here. What I do like is the main character in this movie. Where is he here? Because Sid Haig's in this. A really young Sid Haig's in this. Is it Robert Walker Jr.? I think it's Robert Walker Jr. I think. But he played Charlie X in the original series episode Charlie X. I mean, he played Charlie. So it cracked me when I first started watching. I was like, hey, wait a minute. Wait. So it is cheesy. It has definitely got some issues with it. Some of the effects are pretty good, though, considering it's 1972. But I really actually did enjoy it. They did a really good job cleaning it up, and they made it look really good. So hands down to you. That looked awesome. The next one is another movie I've never seen, but I remember seeing the poster art for it in the video stores back in the day, and I always wanted to see it because it had Linda Hamilton in it. But I never pulled the trigger on it. I guess I found an excuse, so I'm finally going to see it. It's Black Moon Rising with Tommy Lee Jones and Linda Hamilton. I think this might be more of like a film noir or like a whodunit or whatever, but I'm not too sure too much about it. It came out in 86. I just never seen it. I remember walking into Blockbuster. Actually, I remember walking into a couple mom and pop video stores back in the day and seeing this exact poster up on the wall. I just never watched it. So I'm looking at all the stuff in the back of this thing. Holy cow. So I'm going to definitely check it out this time, and then I will let you know. But I love Linda Hamilton, so we'll see. Next is a movie, and I just watched this last night, and because I just had to, because I love this movie. I do have this on VHS. On VHS, but DVD. This was an upgrade to Blu-ray for me, but it was like $7, I think it was. So it was easy to justify, and that is DC Cab. I love this movie. This movie is so hilarious. I watched it last night. It had been a couple years since I watched it. I forgot how much. I mean, it literally has, obviously, Mr. T's in it, but Adam Baldwin's in it, who obviously goes on to do Firefly. He's done so many other things, but he's like really young in this movie. Who else they got in here? Gary Busey's in there, who plays Gary Busey. Literally, he just plays himself. It's hilarious. He's just all over the board. Irene Cara, who was a singer, was in the movie. It just, this was just a fun movie. It had so many. It's about this cab company, this old dilapidated cab company in Washington D.C. And this kid comes in to help them out. He comes to the owner of the business, who was him and his father were in Vietnam together, and he comes in with some money and helps beef up DC Cab and making the #1 cab company, and all stuff ensues, and just a bunch of hilarity stuff happens. But it's just so much fun, and it's just it's got training montages, and it's got everything in it. This is classic 80s right here. And just watching, and it looked really good. The copy looked really good from my old DVD version. I gotta say, Kino did a really good job restoring this. So if you're ever just looking for a down and out, just cheesy, fun 80s comedy, DC Cabs is the way to go. All right, we're down to the last couple here. The next one I got, and that movie I've never seen. It was on sale for $8. I couldn't pass. I've never seen it. And that's 1,000,000 Years BC. I've never seen this movie. Never. I think this has, it comes with 2 versions of the movie in it. But I don't know. Apparently this is the one that made Raquel Welch like the sex symbol or whatever. Never seen it. But always been interested in it, just never pulled the trigger. But for that kind of price, I've never owned it or anything like that. So I was like, okay, I definitely want to check this out. So I'll let you know. And the last one, and I was really excited to have this. I remember seeing this movie when I was a kid. I have not seen it since then, and I actually don't own it on any other format or anything like that. I'm a little disappointed in myself because I'd forgotten he was in it. But this is another one of those excuse me, Vincent Price movies, and that is Theater of Blood. I got the slipcase cover on this one too. When they shipped it out, it said no slipcover, and I got it. It said slipcover was on it. Another Vincent Price movie, another great one where he's picking off people at doing a dramatic performance, and he's picking off people left and right as they're going through, and it's just 1973. Just, I remember, and again, it has been probably 25 years since I've seen this, but I remember really liking it. Another one my mom would watch a lot. So really did enjoy it. Lots of great features on there. My understanding is what I have read of this is the transfers is really good, well done. So I couldn't pass up. It was another Vincent Price movie that I did not own that I wanted to have in my collection. So Theater of Blood. And that is it. That is my Kino sale pickup. That's what I got. I was really excited about what I picked up this time. I got quite a bit of stuff I don't own already. There was a few things that were upgrades, but I really tried to keep to my new mantra of just getting movies I don't own that I really want to see versus just continue to upgrade every time I turn around. I feel like it's sometimes I'm upgrading stuff. Like I best example was I watched Cannonball Run and Cannonball 2 the other day. And I haven't seen those movies in a while. And I do know that Cannonball Run is out on Blu-ray. The Cannonball Run 2 is available on Blu-ray, but I think it's from Umbrella Entertainment overseas. But I watched both movies on DVD, and they were fine. Actually, I was surprised. Cannonball Run 2 looked pretty good. I was really surprised, considering my Cannonball Run 2 comes with, it's a dual pack with Gumball Rally. And was it Cannonball? Which one was it? 1 or 2? I want to say it was 2 that had the Gumball Rally on it. And I was worried because it's one of those dual discs where one movie's on one side and the other movie's on the other side, but it still looked really good. I was really pleasantly surprised. Really pleasantly surprised. I've actually watched a couple DVDs lately that are like, I watch them and like, these look pretty good. I don't see any reason why to upgrade it for it. This already looks good on DVD. So, I'm getting a little bit more that way now where I'm kind of really judging these movies and going, do I really need to upgrade this, especially in 4K? I did get Beverly Hills Cop 2 in 4K. That's because I have the first one. I'm kind of one of those people, if I can please, I want to have them all together in the same style. So I did pick that up, but otherwise, and I did get Escape from New York on 4K, but that is one of my top 10 movies. So, that was easy for me to justify. I really wanted to get that in 4K because I'm pretty sure the reviews of it first look amazing. But otherwise, I'm looking at my other stack I got over here, and there's nothing else there I actually owned beforehand. So I'm kind of trying to do that. It's not easy. They release stuff, that sometimes they release these things like, oh, I'd really like to have that on 4K, or I'd like to have that on Blu-ray, but it's like, I got a list now. I go down, I go, well, okay, number one, it's the movie I watch a lot. So like for me, I'll take a movie I've probably seen 6 times already this year, Predator. That's kind of one of those movies I just throw in all the time. If I'm like, it's like, I don't know what to watch, just to watch Predator. I watch Predator a lot. I love Predator. That is a top 10 movie of all time. So, you know, that would be easy for me to justify going to 4K because I know I watched a lot. Star Trek movies again. Those I probably watched, you know, especially the first 6, I probably watched 2 to 3 times a year, each one of them. So I know those are ones that I love a lot, that makes sense because I do put a lot of passion, a lot of effort into those movies. Whereas, you know, a movie like Witchcraft 2 or Witchboard 2, I don't own it at all. Okay, I picked it up on Blu-ray, got it for a really good deal. But if I'd already owned it on DVD, I probably wouldn't have picked up the Blu-ray. There'd be no reason to. I don't watch it enough to justify forking out another 4K price is another $30. So I will continue to update you guys on my process, because this has been a really weird process for me, because I'm usually just been somebody throughout my entire life that's like, oh, new version, buy it, new version, buy it, you know, and then I end up with, you know, 9, 10 copies of Zoolander, you know, and it's like, what am I doing? This is stupid. So I've been working on that, trying to work through it and stuff like that. It's been a tough process, because there's a few things I passed up on that were really good deals that I really, really, really wanted. But it was like, do I really need this in 4K, or do I really need this on Blu-ray? Is this something I'm going to be boom, boom, boom? You know, best example I used recently was they released Robocop in 4K, and I was like, the DVD looks good to me. I like it. It looks fine. I don't think I need to get the 4K of it, you know. That doesn't mean that eventually down the road I might not, if something comes out that, or if the disc is damaged or something like that, of course I would just upgrade. But my Robocop that I have now is actually, it's really good. I watched it not too long ago, and I was like, this looks great. What more do I need? I mean, I love Robocop. It's not in my top 10, maybe my top 30, you know, but it's just not something I watch a lot. So I kind of, my main thing is now, is my number one thing is this a movie I watch a lot, or is this one of my favorite movies? If it is, it's easy to justify, okay, I'm going to upgrade it. But if it's something like, oh, I really enjoy it, but I might only watch it, I may watch it a year or two from now, I won't watch it a lot, there's no reason to really, at least for me anyways, to go ahead and upgrade if it's something I'm not going to put a lot of passion, a lot of time into. So it's kind of where I'm pushing myself right now, and it hasn't been easy, but it's also allowed me to pick up movies like this that I probably wouldn't have had money for, because I would have spent it on, you know, an upgrade on this, that, or the other thing. So that is a positive side to it. So yes, I know DC Cab is an upgrade, but I do watch this movie a few times. But that's kind of where the state of things are. So that's why this sale really excited me, because I really got a lot of stuff that I don't own at all. Matter of fact, again, looking at this, I'm not going to, if it's on VHS, not going to count it, because that's, you know, I don't have a whole lot of VHSs, but yeah, DC Cab was only one. Other than, I guess, you could say Buck Rogers, but that's in that set. So otherwise, the rest were all stuff I've never owned before. Movies I've seen or haven't seen, but I just didn't really own. So that's what excites me so much, is that's so awesome that I've actually acquired new stuff to put in the catalog that doesn't go like a cataloging thing. I use Blu-ray.com to catalog a lot of my movies. They got an app and stuff like that. And you type in certain movies, it'll just come up with just a long list of the same movie down, because like all these different versions I have it. It's nice to be able to put it in and type in a certain movie and see all the different, you know, movies, not same movie, different versions. So, okay, I've spent enough time. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Leave me some comments down below. Did you get in on any of these things, or did you go to the Kino Lober sale? I'll put a link for it down below. Now that I got my laptop and stuff like that, I can do stuff like that. So I will put a link for it down below, so you can check it out and see what's going on with there. I really recommend checking it out, especially if you're a film buff fan or just like movies in general. Even their new stuff, even their stuff that's not like, you know, on their flash sales or any of their fancy sales, no more than usually $20. I mean, Treasure of the Four Crowns is one too that I got from them. They dropped it. It was 30 when it originally went out, and then it came out at 20, which, by the way, I did watch Treasure of the Four Crowns yesterday. I finally sat down and watched it. Another Kino Lober. Kino did a really good job. I did have one small complaint with it. There was some digital noise here and there that maybe they just could not get rid of. And there was some like movie lines. Like there's a couple scenes where there's like these weird like brown lines that kind of go down part of the screen and stuff like that. I don't know whether those were things that were on the negative they just couldn't get rid of. But I did notice that a couple times. But other than that, the sound was really good, and the rest of the picture quality was pretty good. It was fun watching that. I saw stuff in there, I was like, oh, I didn't know that was that. I think one of the worst things it did, though, is because it's so much sharper and clearer. You can actually You can see the fishing wire when these things are flying around. You can see the actual fishing wire holding them on. So like there's these scenes where these creatures are starting to come at the main character, and you can see the two fishing lines are holding it up as it's coming in. So I don't remember seeing that back in the day when I watched it on VHS, but you can definitely notice it now. So it adds more a flare of cheesiness to it, but I really did enjoy it. So it was a lot of fun. But again, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, the bell, leave me some comments. Please share this video. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. Always keep hunting. You never know what you're going to find. That is the God honest truth. And as always, live long and prosper. Bye.